This week on Gadget Inspectors, we're taking a look at Palm's latest handset. It's the Palm Pre. It went on sale in June in the United States and it's finally made its way to this side of the Atlantic, and it's got tech journalists very excited. The question is, will it have the same effect on consumers, and can it dethrone the iPhone from its top spot in the smartphone market? A lot of people seem to think the Pre could actually be an iPhone killer, and there are plenty of things to recommend it, not least its lovely design. Although it's a bit shorter and stubbier than the iPhone, it bears a lot of its curved lines and glossy hallmarks, and that's no surprise really, considering a lot of the Palm development team were actually bought in from Apple and worked on devices such as the iPod. Now, the really key selling point of the Palm Pre is its operating system. Palm have basically scrapped everything they've ever done before and rebuilt the OS from the ground up. The new OS is called WebOS, and that's to signify just how important cloud computing is to this device. The idea being that we don't simply know people who are in our phone book and know people who are on Facebook. They're all one and the same group of people, and there are a variety of different ways of getting in touch with them. So essentially what we have on this is my work contact book synchronised with the phone, and you'll be able to tell from down the side here whether or not these people are available to chat. So basically it's recognising two things. One, people within my work contact that I might be able to get hold of via phone or via email, the more traditional methods, as well as those people that I'm going to be able to do a Google chat with directly from the handset. And I think that's a really important development in mobile phone operating systems, and something that Apple really needs to consider for its next iPhone update. The Pre has a really lovely 3.1-inch touchscreen, and it's incredibly intuitive to use. I particularly like the way that touching it creates a little ripple effect underneath your finger, so you can see exactly where you've pressed and make sure that you've hit the right icon. However, what slightly undermines it is the keyboard. It's almost as though Palm didn't quite touch the user interface they built for the touchscreen, and so felt the need to whack a QWERTY keyboard on the bottom of the device. Not only do you have this horrible sharp edge right where your face is, but these keys are actually incredibly difficult to type on. They're very small and sat flush to the keypad, and you almost have to type on your fingertips in order to be able to get a good purchase on the keys. That for me is really disappointing, and something that I would have hoped they'd have picked up during the research and development process. There's one other area where Palm's really showing off its high-tech credentials, and that's with the charging system for the Pre. There's no need to plug a cable directly into the Pre itself. Instead you can use this, the Touchstone wireless charging pad. Now, it's a little bit of a lie because this does still need a plug in the back of it, but it does mean that you don't have to put any cables into the Pre itself. It works through a very complicated bit of technology called inductive technology, and essentially resting the palm onto the device starts charging through a special backplate. I think this is definitely the future of all devices, and who knows, in a few years' time we could be living in houses where wireless charging is built into the walls. But fair play to the Pre for pushing the envelope a bit on this one. Overall then, the Palm Pre is a fantastic handset, and Palm have tried some really innovative new features in it. I particularly like WebOS, which points the way towards a more interconnected type of operating system on our mobile phones, and I think it's something that Apple definitely needs to take a look at when it's making its next iPhone. However, there are still some areas where the Pre falls down, and I'm afraid one of them is currently its app catalogue. Like most mobile phones, it now offers its own ability to download and install extra programs, software and services onto the device. But unlike the Apple iPhone, which boasts around 90,000 apps, I'm afraid this one has about 100 at launch. It doesn't even have a Facebook app, which is a bit of a crisis in my opinion. Overall then, the Pre gets good marks for its looks, its style and for its forward-thinking, underlying architecture. But it's still not quite as good as the iPhone. However, I do think it shows plenty of promise, so I'm going to give the Palm Pre 8 out of 10.